Here we go again. You want to make money in the Crew Motorfest. And there's a lot of things to spend money on in the Crew Motorfest. Hypercar after hypercar after hypercar. Well, it's my job to make videos on the Crew Motorfest. But for some reason, it seems to be Ivory Tower's job to patch any method the moment it's discovered as the best. So yes, I'm back pretty soon, but not to milk a money method, no, to give you a 2025 updated guide on how to make money in the Crew Motorfest. It's not just my knowledge going into this. I've assembled a team. This is the council that is currently unnamed, with some of the best players in the entire game, as well as the most knowledgeable players that know the inner workings of the game, and they'll be helping me make a lot of future videos. But they helped me finalize the method at the end of this very video, which can earn you 1.3 million bucks an hour. A very important note is check the comments. If anything in this method is changed or updated before next update, which is when I would make another money guide if something's changed, if anything in this method has changed or doesn't work in-game, check the comments, because a new video explaining the change will be in the comments if so. Knowing Ivory Tower, it's only a matter of moments before they goddamn patch something else. As you know what, I don't really have much of anything to plug. The only thing I will plug, I guess, is, including this money guide, videos go up early access for members, as well as emotes and badges and perks in the Discord where I discuss upcoming videos. The memberships give you a bunch of exclusive access to videos, and they help me do what I do, this, full time. So if I was to plug anything, you see that join button next to subscribe? Become a member. It's as little as like £3 a month. Okay, and now, money guide. So the first section of this money guide is pretty needed. This is the tips and tricks section. Don't skip this one, trust me, because this is the section which will turn your 500,000, 600,000 bucks an hour to 1.3 million bucks an hour. These little tips and tricks and knowledge on the in-game workings are important. Let's start off with legend points, found in the driver menu on the second to last section of the driver menu. These are points that add different boosts based on the different affixes that you can get in-game. This can be anything from more nitro power to getting more points specifically in air race events. And these have only one really main use for money grinding, is this top one right there. Bucks increased by 20%. You need to max that out. As well as, well, once we've started making the most money possible, the next thing on the list for grinding money is doing the events quicker. So pure, extra pump, ventilated, rocket, resourceful, frenetic, and drifty helps a little bit. All of these should all also be maxed out. This will cost about 240 legend points. How do you get them? Well, from the main stage. You do one of these top 3 tracks, and only the ones that you have maxed out will then start giving XP to the legend track. Leveling up through the legend track can get you a bunch of rewards, but mostly this track, which goes up to a maximum of level 5,000, will add on your level to each of the levels gained from here and give you that many points at the end of each main stage. So at the end of each month. Not only adding to your level, but giving you that many legend points. The next thing to explain is parts. Now, parts, I'd assume you already know, parts are gained from successfully completing events. Now, this can be anything, any playlist. I mean, grand races give you parts as well, same with Demolition Royales. And of course, the old trusty treasure box as well will also give you parts. And with some good luck, you can start getting gold parts. These are parts that come with a preset affix, which boosts a certain thing. This one being Buck's Magnet, and that's actually the one you need. You need to hope you get lucky and get every single part with the gold affix of Buck's Magnet. A few new ways that they have helped you try and get Buck's Magnet is the merge system, which will let you turn greens into blues, blues into purples, and then most importantly purples into golds. But once all of your parts are labeled Bucks, you want to use Bucks and spare parts, which are gained from scrapping parts, to recalibrate. The way recalibrate works is you spend those bucks and spare parts and you get either a different affix or the same affix but with a different percentage. You want to spam the top one until you get bucks. There it is. Then, for the other one, you want to, again, spam until you get pure. There we go. Once you've done that, you then want to spam the... Oh, that's a bit of luck. You want to spam the middle one until you get the highest possible percentage of those two affixes. Yes, this is a money guide. Yes, it's expensive to make money. It takes money to make money. Welcome to life, I guess. And you want to do that for all 7 of your parts, making your maxed out bucks set. However, for Alpha GP, I have 3 of those. Instead of putting pure, I put extra pump, refill speed, so that I get a bit of refilled NOS as well as powerful NOS. This is good practice, and you should also do it. And which car you want to put those parts on? Well, that'll be explained for each method specifically. So let's get to the methods. So, there is 3 different methods of making money in this game. We're going full bad mobile game ad because we have the easy method, the hard method, and the extreme method. A method so extreme that its viability is purely theoretical. But that'll make sense when I get to it. But let's begin with the easy. To do this method, you have to have completed the Vintage Garage playlist. That meaning started and then finished every event till the very end, collected your reward, because finishing playlists unlocks the reconfigure system, where you can take any event and do it in any configuration, any vehicle, any spec, and you of course need that to do these money methods. I will have to repeat this for each method because some people skip around to the best method and whatnot. And the specific event for this method is the 3rd event in the playlist, Kiss Me Kombi. Bad name for an event, but you can either fast travel to it from here, or you can find it on the map here, all the way on the right. For this method, you want to be using the Red Bull RB14, either the base one or the Disruption edition. You want the parts to look like this, as explained in my tips and tricks section, and you want the pro settings to look like this. The bottom 2 bottomed out, the ones above topped out. That's the only ones that I recommend, but there's more specific ones you can get. These ones are just the general ones which help all around. Then in event settings, you want to obviously have it to custom, put it to midday. Modifier, you obviously want clean driving. This will allow you to gain a few more bucks if you just don't hit as much stuff. Now thankfully, we're only doing bucks here, not XP, so difficulty doesn't really matter. If anything, you probably put it to 2 or 3, just so they're not too much of a challenge, but also get out of your way a little easier. The only thing that really matters here is traction control to comfort, ABS on, and ESP off, as those are the 3 that just sort of have you drive quicker. And of course, if we've already maxed out money, the only thing next to maxed out is how quick we get that money. And now, there isn't much of a route, but there is a way of driving that I can show you for this method. The first thing to come to terms with is maxed out clean driving bonus, which does give you an extra bonus, is virtually impossible. You can already see I'm being pushed to a point where I just couldn't avoid it. I would have had to have gone all the way back, braked, then tried to avoid all the AIs, and at that point I've spent too much time and I wouldn't make that back via just making the more money. So although you can try and avoid the AIs, there's not a point of trying to max out your clean driving. I mean, I'm at 4459. It's probably about as much as I can get. By the way, NOS management is the one thing that kind of does matter. Over here, I use my NOS, that being at about 38%. I only use top of the tank, so the top half, as that's the more powerful nitrous, and it just helps me keep a consistent top speed in a race which is basically just holding R2. In fact, that's why this is one of the easiest methods. It's the 3rd best in the game, but also it's just one of the easiest to do without thinking, really. And again, I will then NOS the 2nd time at 73% right after a turn, get myself back up to speed. Again, just keeping at the top half of the tank. This turn, you can do flat out, but you can sort of coast your throttle. Don't do that. Coast your throttle and you can make that pretty fine. There's a shortcut here, but I don't take it for the little extra clean driving, as you wouldn't make it back, and there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. 1 minute 30 for a big chunk of money. This method, over 1 hour, makes you 960,000 bucks per hour. Sounds pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Definitely one of the best methods to sort of do really casually. That was the easy method though. Let's move on to method 2, To do both the hard and the extreme method, you need to have completed the Electric Odyssey playlist, began the playlist, and finished every event right till the very end. As this unlocks, reconfigure, where you can change the entire way the event works. And the event for both this and the next method is E-xpress. You can either fast travel to it from here, or find it here on the map in the top right of Wahiawa. Now, first, for the car that you want to use in this event, you have a bit of a selection here. Mostly, the two to go for are the Bugatti 110 or the Lamborghini Revuelto. These are the two best hypercars around this track, especially using this method. But if you don't have the money for either of these two, you can instead go for one of the cheapest vehicles in the cheapest in hypercar, one of the cheapest in this entire guide, the Gordon Murray T50. This car, despite being the cheapest hypercar, is actually still really good. For the sake of this guide, I'm going to use the 110, and this is what your parts should look like, as explained in my tips and tricks section. In Pro settings, you want to go down and put bottomed out these two, and then the two above, top them out. And then in event settings, you obviously want to set it to custom, put it to midday just to get rid of the rain, and then clean driving, which will of course give you more money based on the cleaner you drive. And the final change that is important, now thankfully not doing XP here, so difficulty doesn't matter. All you kind of want to do is ABS on, ESP off, traction control comfort, as that'll just give you the best performing car, thus quicker runs. But something that does matter is rewind needs to be off. You must make sure that rewind is off. So at the very beginning, you want to go light on the throttle, but turn around and then slam on the throttle. You want to just make it to this road behind you. Then eventually your waypoint is going to reset and then follow that waypoint. Go right here, boom, there's the waypoint, left of the church, then right after to go onto the bridge. Get ready to jump off the road. So once you're over the bridge, you want to aim for the set of 3 trees up here. These, just to the left of them, is this road. Then again, beeline it off, and then when you hit the gate, respawn. That'll put you here. Go forward, follow around the dirt road, and use your nitrous to get back up to speed a little, but don't waste too much. Stay in the top of the tank. Aim for the left of this tree, as that'll let you hit this mound and get you back on the road. Immediately left, follow the road. Now, forget the road, because right after this turn, you want to keep turning and go straight for the finish line. Don't hit the walls like I did, just turn on the road. Then it's just a case of getting to the end. Save your NOS, manage it a bit better, I guess, and that's your route, really. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, this mode is a big chunk more difficult than the easy method, nowhere near as hard as the extreme method, and it makes you 1.127 million bucks an hour. So about 170,000 more than the easy method, which per hour, it depends. It's up to you. I'd prefer the easy one, but this is better. In fact, this one makes more than it used to, 100,000 more than it used to, because of a certain feature. The reason this one makes more than it used to is because of that spec bonus that I got. See, with the new custom mode in the Crew Motorfest, they added a boost for doing events in vehicles unintended for that event. Because as you can see, E-xpress is not intended to be done in hypercar. You don't even get a sticker for it. So you get a boost because you're using something that is out of the ordinary for the event. Now this doesn't have much of a rhyme or reason that I can tell. There seems to be no consistency on which specs have which boost. But it's led to this next method. Method 3. We are back at E-xpress. As I said previously, to do both the hard and the extreme method, you need to have completed the Electric Odyssey playlist. Began the playlist and finished every event right till the very end. As this unlocks, reconfigure, where you can change the entire way the event works. And the event for both this and the next method is E-xpress. You can either fast travel to it from here or find it here on the map in the top right of Wahiawa. The reason this method is the last method is because this method is kind of only theoretical. It is. Don't get me wrong. It is the best method. Undeniably, it's the it's the best method. Asterisk, if you can do it. And for this method, it's gonna seem strange. You want to make sure rewind is on for this, because you'll make a lot of mistakes, and rewind is the quickest way to correct those mistakes. So if you spin out, use rewind, as well as the respawn not applying in this method. So the vehicle you want to use is the Proto Mark X. If you are slightly better of a player, then use the Red Bull RB14. But the Proto Mark X is the go-to. Your parts should look like this, as explained in the tips and tricks, and your pro settings should look like this, with the bottom two bottomed out and the two above topped out. In fact, this method is so difficult. Instead of just doing it, I'm gonna have to show you a video of me doing it, as I can much better explain how to do it through this. This is because the run is that much of an absolute pain. So, here is one of my best runs on this method. Straight away, again, you want to turn around. Go slam on the brakes, but go light on the throttle so that your wheel starts spinning. And then you can swing it round, but light on the throttle so you don't overspin. Then you can slam so that you get to the road. You follow the same route here as the previous method. Forward, your waypoint will reset. There you go. Then you want to left to the church, right to the bridge, with just the way the waypoint is saying. After the bridge, you want to do the exact same shortcut as before. You want to go left, then aim for the left of these trees up here to get to this road. Now, no respawning. You keep going forward. You plow through the trees. Don't worry. I'll help you with which trees. But you just want to keep going until you reach roughly where you would end up respawning. Go to the slight left of this tree. It's banked here. And get to the road. The car is really hard to control, but that's just what we have to deal with. Then you continue going forward here until this road where you swing round, and then once you're here, just try and get as much air as possible. Your car will spin out a lot. If it spins out, then just rewind. Yes, it's inconsistent, but it's still better. Then you make it to the finish line. That was a 1 minute 17. On average, I can get this at a 1 minute 20, especially with this second road that I use. Now, this is actually a good place to put a needed 2 reminders. One of them is this method here is a really big pain to do. Not only is the hard mode easier, but the easier mode is way easier. Despite both of those making roughly 300,000 less, they are less mentally straining. But yes, this method is the best. But a reminder to watch the whole of this guide because, trust me, it's best watched all the way through. And the second reminder is, hey, my name is Sid, and I do a bunch of crew videos. I try to just have fun on this game as well as make these guides for you, so subscribe. Let's get back to it. But now, for the sake of explaining, let me do this really slowly so that I can show you. Because, like I said, this method is a pain. Slammed on brake, light on the throttle, so your car burns, then not too much throttle, even lift off a bit, over to the road. Follow the road until the waypoint turns back. There you go. Then left to the church, right to the bridge as before. Don't use too much NOS here. I just tap NOS. You want to save NOS for when you're off-road. Now, when you get to this section, go wide. Hopefully traffic's not there, but you go wide, and you break through the gate here, and aim for the left of these 3 trees. That'll get you to this road here. Now this section. So, there's a tree right ahead of you. You want to go slightly to the left, but before this next tree to the left. These are the 3 trees you want to aim for. This one, that one, and this breakable one here. Just keep going forward and hold nitrous. You'll jump a bit, but you'll land here. Keep holding nitrous or you'll spin out. Then just keep going over this mound until you see this patch of trees here. I'm gonna have to abort because I'm losing vehicle health. These patch of trees here, you want to go this gap. You can see how there's a gap here, and that one lonely tree there. Try and get here, but just in general, you want to get to the end of it. I go to the left of this tree. If you're about to spin out, lower how much you're throttling, nitrous a bit, be really careful. Then this one is kind of just an amalgamation of trees. You can see I found a little gap here. And then once you see the tree on the left there, that's the one you kind of want to aim for. You can turn a lot more here because it's banked. And then that's how you get back to the road. Once you're back to the road, like I say, follow the road. Here, don't really nos. Again, just like tap nos a little bit. Just get up to speed. You want to save your nos. Unlike the other method, you continue down the road instead of going for the end of it straight away until you get to this road here, at which point you do go with the road and then just use these mounds to get air. The longer you're in the air, the more time you're not losing speed, and the longer you're in the air, the less chance you have of spinning out catastrophically, as Alpha GP cars do. If you spin out, just rewind. That's why you want to have rewind on for this, because you'll probably spin out a lot. And then you reach the finish line. So what the hell makes this the best method if I'm clearly struggling so much more than Hypercar, and if anything, I'm getting an on average slower run than Hypercar? How can this be better? Well, it's because of that thing I mentioned at the very beginning of this section. Because on this very bad run, where, as you can see, I'm going to get a 1 minute 25. Ooh, that's rough. Despite getting that time, despite that time being rather bad, doing this event in Alpha GP gives you the spec boost, which for Alpha GP is 72%. A 72% boost on an average of 1 minute 20 route, giving you 38,000 bucks. But this method is such a pain, and I hate it. but it is the best. It is the best. By the way, just to confirm, cutesnack here is someone on the council. Massive shout out to her because she got that second place in the world testing this method. To clarify, this is the best and properly tested. Same with that route. Properly tested. Speaking of, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you to the entire council, the specific ones who worked on this video. What the hell should we name the council? And thank you for watching. Subscribe. In a